at Shkia, which is approximately 8:24, 8:25. We have with us this evening a very, very old friend, old from the first mishpachas that I met when I arrived here in White Lake. Who suffered a tremendous tragedy. He lost the one who brought him out of this world. He lost his mother, Bracha Basib Yosef. I've never seen Yiddish Imame. Dr. London, the Banishlam, Amokim Nachem, brings back memories. His coming to our Besmer bring back memories when he was a bocher. For many years he was together with us, with all of his friends, Chaverim. We'd be together with Rosh Yom Kippur, and we'd break the fast together. Some very, very sentimental, very, very special moments that I recall. You should know we'll serve you Mishim Oni Asimchas. Moshe Kibbutz Torah Misinam Shali Yoshua. This is the season of ethics of fathers of Pirkei, between Pesach and Rosh Hashanah. So every Shabbos we learn the Sefer of Pirkei Avos. It tells us here the whole Messiah, how we live with tradition. The Klal is how we live with tradition. We have a future because we cherish our past. It tells us here that the whole Seder, how it was handed down the Torah, our Torah, which is our life, how Yid lives, was given to Moshe Rabbeinu. He stood on Har Sinai. He gave it over to the disciples, Talmud Yeshua. Yeshua gave it over to the prophets and the Vim, to the Kedim, the elders. The elders then gave it over, the Torah, the whole Torah, the way we have it now. It was given over to the prophets, the Vim, and the Vim Masul Anchi Kenesagdor. The Vim gave it over to the Anchi, to the Great Assembly. The Great Assembly was a body which left its mark and left a stamp for Klal Yisrael. The way we daven and how we conduct ourselves was handed down from the Anchi Kenesagdor. The number one, the Siddur, the way it looks today, with the prime, most important part of davening is the Shemay Esrei. 18 brachas that we say. So we stand before the Banishlam, the Almighty, and we ask Him for all kind of requests. If they left it to us, this one would ask for a Lexus, this one would ask for some kind of delicious latkes, chleis. What we would ask for, we wouldn't know. They put it together in a concrete form, something that's of value. That we ask the Rebbeinu Shalom, He should give us wisdom, understanding how to conduct ourselves. It's something of value. Refuenu, that the Almighty should heal all those that are not well, heal us. This is what the Anshe Knesset they did for us. Not like there was one of the great Hasidic rabbis, and he had a very faithful someone who served him very, very faithfully. A Yankele, and he was his last days. He was bidding farewell to all of those his beloved ones, his friends, his community, and he called over this Yankele. He said, "Yankele, how can I repay you? I'm so grateful. You served me with such heart and soul, so faithfully, loyally for so many years. What kind of a blessing, a bracha, could I give you?" So Yankele, he looks at the Rabbi, he says to him, he says, "I make a livelihood, I'm a farmer. What kind of farmer? I have a cow or two. So, and from the cow I get milk, from the milk I make cheese and cream, and that's my livelihood. The more milk the cow gives, the greater his milking is, so my livelihood is increased. Give me a bracha, a blessing, that my behemoth, my cow, should give a lot of milk." So the Rebbe looks at him from everything in the world. My goodness, that's all that he has on his mind. He says to him, "Yankele," he says, "the behemoth, the cow, should give a lot of milk. And you, behemoth, you should have long, long years." He lived to a very, very ripe old age. From everything in the world, has asked that he should have good health, he should have nachas from his children, he should have other important things. So if not for Anshe Knesset Gdoila, we wouldn't know what to ask for. So left their mark until today. They said three things: having a sunim badin, that when someone sits and listens to a dispute, and he has to pass a din Torah, so he should be very deliberate in judgment. Masu siog la Torah, and safeguard, build a fence around the Torah, safeguard the mitzvahs. Don't just be careful with the mitzvah itself, but make some steps precaution that you shouldn't come to the point where you might transgress a mitzvah. Make yourself all sorts of safeguards. And you should have many, many disciples. Shimon Tzadik, Shimon Tzadik was from the very last of the very last ones of this great assembly. This great assembly linked together was the bridge from the Nevi'im, the prophets, those that spoke directly to the Rabbi. They spoke directly to the Almighty, so Rabbi spoke directly. After that, to speak directly to Rabbi, that didn't exist. That there was Ruach HaKodesh, they would have certain visions, but to speak directly to Muslim, a conversation with the Nevi, with that group, that period, when that ended, it didn't exist anymore. So the Anshe, they linked together, that group together with what we have today, our Shas, our Talmud, our Shisha Sidui Mishnah. They linked them together. That was a very special body. So Shimon Tzadik, he was from that group. He said, I'll show you where my made. The world stands on three pillars: on the Torah, on the study of Torah, Avodah, to worship the Rabbi Shalom, the Almighty, Al-Gemilas Chasodim, and acts of kindness. Acts of kindness doesn't mean just take money out of your pocket, somebody that needs money, needs help, they need money. Acts of kindness could have many, many forms: a good word, a pat on the back, encouragement, helping someone with a package, some whatever, lighten his load. All of these are Gemilas Chasodim. The Nachman Shenabler, what Gemilas Chasodim meant, the Nachman Shenabler, so he was imprisoned. Why was he imprisoned? Because he was doing what a man of his stature should do. He was helping Jews adhere to Torah mitzvahs. In Russia, this was not permitted; it was forbidden. So they jailed him. But anyway, when he served as the Rabbi in by Shabbos, Yom Tov, the table, there wasn't enough people to sit by the table itself. There were benches. Like bleachers. So they started, hundreds of people had to be served. So they were serving, handing out all those first row, second row, the third row. You can imagine those who are sitting on the top row, sitting there for such a length of time, Friday night after davening. They're starved. They can't wait to get their bowl of soup. So one of them, who his hands were trembling already from hunger and from the anxiety of waiting to get that bowl of soup. So when he took the bowl of soup, it dropped, and it spilled right on top of the Rebbe himself. Everybody were ready to, who knows what, they're ready to hang him. So just a minute. Please make sure, give him another bowl of soup. Give him another bowl of soup. There was in conclusion, a very beautiful story. We're having our Malava Malki, our annual dinner, this coming Shabbos Saturday night. And the one who's going to the Hasidic comedian, the Hasidic Batkin, so we have a number of Russians here, so he was imitating all different customs, all different great personalities, all great rabbonim. He was imitating what goes on in Russia, the sample of his originality and humor. So he said they came one time, the NKVD, they came to him in the house, and they said, we're going to arrest you. He said, we have evidence that you have contraband in your house. You're doing business illegally. So he said, what kind of evidence do you have? He said, we found under your bed 2 cases of vodka. He said, I need more evidence. So anyway, so this Darshan, there's very, very devoted. They do great humanitarian work in the field of Bikur Cholim, rushing people to hospital. They do. They make sure people that haven't got what to put on the table Shabbos, you should have what to eat on Shabbos. Other very many, and rushing people to hospital, other things. So they make a dinner once a year, and they honor all big top city officials, heads of the fire department, heads of the police department. They honor them with badges, with certificates, with plaques, to be able to continue to get their cooperation. So they had to explain our comedian was performing at that evening. So was standing there a sergeant, and he's standing with his hands folded, and he's looking at the comedian. And after a while, he goes to the system, Mr. Comedian, are you finished? So he thought to himself, he doesn't understand the humor, so what can you expect? So he says to him, yes, I'm finished. He said, let me tell you a story. He said, we were patrolling what is considered to be one of the most orthodox, most religious neighborhoods in the world, Borough Park. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and the patrolman and I, we were driving along, and we see something very suspicious. A car moving along, stopping every once in a while, go into a basement, come back up and continue. What in the world are they doing there? This must be, we caught them in the act. That's what you call religious people. They look like they had beards. They're probably peddling drugs or something. So they turn on their headlights, they flash them, their headlights, put on their siren, stop! Your registration, a license. They showed them. He said, what do you got on that truck? What are you doing here? So he said, well, they said there are people, unfortunately, haven't got, the Sabbath is fast approaching, and they haven't got what to put on the table for the Sabbath. So we're bringing them different delicacies, fish and meat and chicken, other things, and bread, challah, wine. Ha ha ha! Oh, you fellas should write fiction. Ha ha ha! Yeah, you got nothing better to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. What's it your business? They haven't got it. So he said, well, we'll search your truck. So go ahead. They get on the back of the truck, and there's herring, there's fish, and there's picha, all kinds of, and they keep on frantically kicking over in buckets and spills, and the smells from different aromas and food starts to mix and start making them nauseous. And then they finally were convinced they were absolutely telling the truth. So he says, the patrolman, he turns to me, he says to me, Sergeant, he says, you know, we belong to the wrong kind of people. So this is what Gimel Sadim is all about. Hanani Merakashi Oimer, Lotzah Koni Baruch Hu, the Zakri says Yisrael, the Fikal Hilam Per Mitzvahs, Shnemar,